Hello everyone, I'm your host Mariana and you're listening to A Degree Farther, the official podcast of the graduate school at Hood College, where we feature current students, alumni and faculty who are innovators on our campus and in our community. Hi everyone, welcome back to A Degree Farther. I hope you're having a great summer, that you're enjoying the weather and the classes, and also getting some rest time. Once again, we have an amazing guest. I always get so happy with the guests that we have because I always learn a lot, and I hope you are learning too. And today I'm so excited to introduce you to her. Her name is Dr. Jamie White, and she serves as the Vice President of Patient Care Services and Chief Nursing Officer of Frederick Health, which is a 257 licensed bed hospital and health system with a multi-specialty medical group, home care, hospice, and other ambulatory services. Dr. White joined Frederick Health in 1997, and she has served the organization in many capacities, advancing through several clinical and administrative roles. Dr. White earned her bachelor's degree in nursing from Messiah University in 1996, master's in nursing from Walden University in 2007, and then she earned a doctorate in nursing in 2014 from Capella University. She is a board certified as a nurse executive advanced. What makes Dr. Jamie stand out is her patient-centered, staff-centered, and mission-driven approach, making her an amazing nurse leader. She works closely with her team to improve patient experience and quality across the health system. And today, she will talk with us about all her professional journey and what inspired her to go farther in her career. I really hope her story inspires you as much as it did me. Enjoy it! Hello everybody, welcome back to a new episode of A Degree Farther. We are so happy today because we are with Dr. Jamie, and I am so excited because we're gonna learn a lot about her experience as the Chief Nursing Officer. So, hello Jamie, thank you for being here today.
It's my pleasure. Thank you.
Okay, as always, we can start introducing yourself. If you can share your journey to becoming a chief nursing officer and key experiences and roles that prepare you for this position.
Great, sure. Well, I've been a nurse for 27 years now. My path has been a little bit windy. I didn't start my nursing journey thinking I was going to be a chief nursing officer. I just wanted to be a nurse. So after high school, I headed off to college. I went to Messiah College and got my bachelor's degree in nursing. From there, I worked as a bedside nurse. I loved it. And after I did that for several years, I realized how much I loved teaching, particularly with nursing students, that it came to my unit and decided that I would go back to school and get my master's degree in nursing education. And during that time, I switched roles to working in our clinical education department here at Frederick Health and thoroughly enjoyed that. Once I got my master's degree in nursing, it actually opened new doors. And instead of going down the clinical path I thought I was going to go down, I actually became a nurse manager. Loved that as well. And found that I was very good at patient experience. And so from there, I actually moved into our patient experience department, training other managers. I worked in our IT department as we were bringing on a whole new documentation system, and decided at that point that I really wanted to actually go back to school and get my PhD. I just love learning, and so I thought that was a good path. And when I finished that, I actually became a nursing director over nursing quality. And then from there, became the vice president of nursing quality. And then most recently, in the last year or so, became the chief nursing officer. So definitely a windy path, not what I was intending, but it's been a joy.
Yeah, it's very inspiring your career path, really inspiring. And talking about that, what inspired you to pursue the career in nursing from the first time? Like, why you wanted to be a nurse?
That's a great question. I actually have a photo of myself as a 5-year-old at Halloween, dressed in my aunt's nursing uniform. And it was truly that day when I was 5 years old and pretending I was a nurse for Halloween that just gave me the passion. I loved the feeling that it gave me just to even be dressed up as a nurse. And I never changed my desire since I was 5 years old. So that's where it all started. My aunt, and I think it's the ability to help others and make a difference that that drew me to just continue wanting to do that my whole life.
Wow, that's amazing. What specific skills and competencies do you believe that are essential for nurses seeking for leadership positions are you as yours?
I think specific skills and competencies there, there are so many. I think some of the keys include having really good communication skills. I think being a nurse in general requires you to have the ability to explain things, but also listen. And that certainly serves you well as a nurse leader, also. Um, I think being organized is helpful. I think one of the biggest opportunities or competencies is the ability to be nimble and be ready to adapt to change at any moment, because nursing and healthcare in general just it changes frequently, and being able to do that without it bogging you down and stressing you out is important. And I also think one of the other big ones is being a good team member. We, as nurses, we're always on a team of some kind, whether it's a team with our patients and their families, a team with our colleagues, a team with whatever group we're working on. We need to be very good team members.
Okay, yeah. And you talk about like how your career was changing with time and how you become like you end up in this like great position that usually people that start studying to be a nurse doesn't think like, oh, maybe I can get to that point, you know. And that's why it's so important to talk with you and to to show like your experience and show other um paths that a nurse can take. So, what leadership opportunities you think that are available for nurses that have advanced degrees, and what do you think that a nurse need um, to get further in the career?
Great question. I think there are so many opportunities in nursing. Most of my career has been in the hospital setting, but there's just so many things that nurses can do and get involved in. I think in my mind, I tend to break nursing leadership roles maybe into 4 tracks, whether it's pure, true leadership where you are responsible for the actions of others, whether you're a manager or a director or a supervisor. I think, though, nursing leadership also is in clinical excellence. I think of, clinical nurse specialists or those who go back and get advanced degrees in the clinical side of nursing, that is a leadership position that's valued. One of the more recent tracks is informatics. There's just so much information and data, and trying to have somebody that understands all of those things and helps us stay along the right path is critical. So I would say informatics is a new one. And then, of course, education. There's a lot of nurse leaders that can go down the path of educating others and sharing the knowledge with other people. Um, there's so many opportunities. How do people prepare? Ooh, have a solid foundation, like just be good at being a nurse. I think that's usually the best place to start. I think one of the other ways to prepare is to build relationships. A lot of nursing, and no matter what track you're in, relies on your ability to have good relationships with others, whether it's others in nursing, other disciplines, colleagues, etc.
Yeah. And what advice would you give to nurses who aspire to leadership roles, particularly those that have that are pursuing the advanced degrees?
Yeah, the best advice I ever got actually was from one of the former Hood deans or directors of nursing. And she told me what's different about nurses who complete an advanced degree and those who don't is perseverance. And so my first advice would be just persevere. It's hard, it's difficult sometimes to juggle a career in nursing. Just persevere and you will get through it. I think one of the other pieces of advice I would say is don't wait for that perfect time. There's never going to be a perfect time to go back or advance any kind of career or make a move. When the opportunity presents itself, take it. Don't wait for some magical right moment because usually that doesn't happen. And then finally, for that one, be ready to pursue opportunities. You never know. Like I said, I wasn't expecting to become a chief nursing officer, but I certainly kept myself open for whatever opportunities came my way. And that has served me well over the years.
Yeah. Follow the passion. And what are the biggest challenges that you face in your role and how you address them?
Well, I think the biggest challenge is it can be very stressful. Being in the position that I'm in is it can be very stressful for numerous reasons. And they change. So, over the last couple of years, the biggest stressors have been COVID and how completely disruptive that was to delivering healthcare in a hospital, whether it was the workforce or the fear or the changing treatment options. So I think the biggest challenge I would say is it's stressful. So right now the big challenge for my role is workforce. We have some gaps in the amount of nurses that are filling positions, and so it is challenging. How do I address it? I think one of the biggest ways to address the challenge, particularly of stress, is remembering why I'm doing it. Why am I sitting in this role? And if I go back to being the 5-year-old that loved the idea of helping others and making a difference, it's the same. I might not be helping a patient, but I'm helping a staff member or I'm helping, the greater good. That's how I address the difficulties, remembering what I'm doing and why.
Yeah, I understand that. And talking about this stress that you have in your job, how you maintain a work-life balance, especially with these demands that you have. And now that you talk about COVID, I can't imagine how hard it was at that moment to maintain this balance. So how that looks on your life.
It is very difficult and I'm not always successful. I'll start with that. I don't have all of the secret answers, but for me, it's understanding what works for me, and what works for me might not work for somebody else. But number one, I need to set myself up for the success as best I can. So I know for myself, I need to exercise and I need to eat well. And if I don't do those things, I can succumb to stress. So, number one, I know what I need to do to make myself have the best advantage possible. So, it's taking care of myself. I also remind myself that this is a choice. I don't have to have this job. I can choose a different one. So, being realistic in understanding that this is a choice that I'm making is helpful. And then I think one of the other thoughts on maintaining a balance would be using my time wisely. It doesn't necessarily for me mean I work at work and I have life at my home. I think sometimes, like last week, I was on vacation. I went camping. It was wonderful. I spent an entire week outside.
Mhm.
However, I read emails while I was there.
Yeah,
I do that because I know that when I come back to work, it is less stressful to have at least gone through emails. It doesn't work for everyone, but that works for me. So I think the takeaway is know what works for you and do it.
I take it. Yes. Thank you for that. Um, and well, to end the conversation, um, this question I like to ask that is looking back on your career, what are some key lessons that you learned that you wish you had known earlier? Mhm.
Oh, so many things. I think maybe the biggest one is realizing that the path is not straight and it doesn't need to be. So, I think when I had started out my career, I thought I was going to take care of patients. And then as things, adjusted and moved along, um, sometimes I second guessed what I was doing and why I was doing it. But, the path isn't straight and it's okay. And every different experience I had as a nurse just makes me a better CNO now. So I think number one, the path isn't straight. And then second, manage expectations. Things don't have to be perfect all the time. And I've had many years where I felt disappointed that things weren't perfect. And that's an unrealistic expectation. And so, when you do your best and you keep track of advancing and moving on, that's what you're about. It doesn't have to be perfect. And I wish I had known that a long time ago because it would have saved some stress, I think, along the way.
Yeah. Um, Thank you so much. I am not in the nursing program, but I really feel everything that you just say. Like I have a lot of admiration, and I'm sure that you're gonna inspire a lot of people that is in this path of nursing, and that maybe there's so many stuck moments, and I hope that people can listen to you and get inspired for your experience because it's amazing. I don't know if you have anything else that you would like to share or to say before ending.
Well, first, thank you so much for the opportunity. It was really nice to spend a little bit of time thinking back on my career and thinking about where I have come from. I think if there was one other thing I would add to the conversation, it's embrace your strengths and maybe don't worry as much about what your shortcomings are. Because if we spend all of our time worrying about what we're not good at, we'll miss all of the things that we're really good at. And so, if I had any words of wisdom to leave with you at the end, it would be embrace your strengths.
Thank you. And now you like I can see that now that you are in this position for all that we were talking, you can understand why everything happened before, like looking back and saying like, yeah, that had to happen. Now I'm here and it's useful. And that's nice is because sometimes I say it as a 28-year-old person that sometimes you don't see in perspective, you just get like in the present and like short future, and maybe in perspective things can be very useful, the things that we are living now, and I can see it with this conversation, so thank you so much.
My pleasure. Well said.
Thank you, it was so nice to meet you, and I hope you have a great rest of your day and year.
It was my pleasure. Thank you.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to A Degree Further. the official podcast of the graduate school at Hood College, where we help you go farther in your life, in your career, and in your community. Be sure to tune in next time and to catch up on all the latest episodes. Visit hood.edu/a degree farther. I'm your host, Mariana, and thank you so much for listening.